Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I wanted to throw a quick video together all about treats. I've gotten a ton of questions from you guys recently about what specific treats I use during training, how many treats you should give your dog during training, and everything having to do with treats during training. So I'm going to spend a couple minutes explaining to you guys exactly what I use and when I use the higher value stuff versus the lower value stuff. And when I do use actual treats for training, how that plays out in that training session and for my dog's daily intake of food for the rest of the day. So I'm going to start by showing you guys just the treats that I typically reach for in an average training session inside with Wrigley here. So Kibble is the first thing that I'll usually reach for. Wrigley's Kibble is small enough that I can use it really effectively and efficiently as training treats. I don't know if you guys can see that all that well. Wrigley's excited about it, but it's a really good sized training treat, and clearly she's very excited about it. So the Kibble I will use for anything that's pretty basic level. I typically will not use the Kibble for any new concept that I'm teaching her. The reason for that being, I like to kind of make the analogy to you guys. Think of a high value food as something like steak or chicken or cheese to your dog. That's a high value treat item. Those kinds of treats I will save for more difficult tasks. The put your toys away in the toy bin, that video on my channel, I started out using high value food because there was a lot of steps to it and I knew that behavior would be more difficult for Wrigley. So anything that's going to be challenging for your dog, I would reach for those more high value items as opposed to the Kibble. Same thing with working outside. Anything that you do outside with your dog, I would recommend having higher value treats with you. Anything in like the cheese, chicken, steak, all that stuff that I mentioned before, those are gonna be the things you wanna save for working with your dog outside. You wanna pay them for coming away from the world and paying attention to you. If you guys think about it like this, if you went to work and you didn't get paid for the work that you did, or maybe you got paid like 5 cents an hour for the work that you did, how many of you would continue to go to work? I probably wouldn't. I love what I do, but I probably would not continue to go to work if I didn't get paid anything to do it. That's just how humans are built. That's how dogs are built too. So you guys can think of Kibble as like that 5 cents an hour type of pay. Now, if you take something like cheese or chicken or steak, that's really raising the bar. That's going to catch our dog's attention a lot faster and hold that attention much better in a distracting environment and for more challenging tasks. You want to pay your dog for the level of attention or challenge that you're presenting to them. So those high value treats, whenever you guys hear me mention high value treats, I'm talking like steak and cheese and chicken and all that really good, stinky, smelly, slimy human food is really, really good for that. So getting back to just the Kibble, okay, 5 cents. Perfect thing to use if you're working in the house with your dog, again, on not a very challenging skill. For training a new skill, I'd reach for something a little higher value than just the Kibble. So one step up from Kibble that I reach for are either Zook's mini treats or Ziwi Peak. Okay, there's a huge price difference between the two of these. Zook's are way more affordable than the Ziwi Peak. However, the thing that is really nice about the Ziwi Peak option, this is actually just dog food. So it contains all of the nutritional ingredients inside of it that my dog should be getting on a daily basis anyways, but I use it as a training treat. A lot of dogs really, really like this stuff as treats. So I buy them in these small bags, as you can clearly see. I buy them in these small bags. Come on, over here. I buy them in these smaller bags, and I just use them as training treats. There's a bunch of different flavors that you guys can reach for, but like I said, if I'm going to reach for an actual treat that's not super high value like I was talking about, but it's also not Kibble, I'll try to reach for stuff like this. There's also this like real meat stuff that is the same concept as this, a little less expensive. So I really like to reach for this as a good consistent option that I know if I use it as treats for Wrigley's training that day, she's still getting the nutrients that her body needs on a daily basis. And I'm not loading her up with a bunch of extra stuff that maybe is not so good for her, that could be in large quantities. So I like the nutritional content in this as a training treat, to know that she's still getting the nutrition that she needs for the day. The Zooks training treats are an awesome brand. They're specifically training treats. They're little bite-sized things. I'll actually show you guys kind of the comparison of both of these. The Ziwi Peak is just this little kind of square is what it ends up looking like. And the Ziwi Peak are like round little training treats. So Ziwi Peak and Zooks right here. Gotta keep the Z's straight. So that's what those look like, you guys. They're perfect bite-sized treats to be able to do training with your dog. You want to look for small pea-sized treats when it comes to training treats. Just enough so that your dog is able to take it in their mouth, chew it once or twice, and then swallow it, and they're ready to go for the next activity that you're working on with them. You don't want a treat that they're gonna sit there and like crunch on for 10 seconds, and then your training session is like 20 minutes long, and half of it is just them chewing on treats. So bite-sized treats is kind of what you're going for. Ziwi Peak and Zooks are two brands that I typically reach for when it comes to training treats. I will link both of those in the description below. So those are the treats I typically reach for, other than the high value food that I talked about. I'm not going to show you guys that stuff. Like I said, anything basically that's left over in your fridge can be a really good high value option. But these are the ones that I like to reach for in the house, and just an impromptu training session. Ziwi Peak, Zooks, and my dog's Kibble. So when it comes to portioning of how many treats do I give my dog? Okay, you can never give your dog too many treats. In terms of training, yes, you can give them too many treats in terms of them getting a little chunky. However, that will not happen if you guys are making yourself aware of how many treats and how much food your dog is getting in their day. So what I tend to do is in the morning, I'll portion out. If I know I'm going to use my dog's Kibble for training that day, I will take a portion of her food out of that daily allotted serving amount. I'll take a portion out for training. It could be a quarter cup of the full cup that she gets throughout the day. It could be half a cup, depending on what I'm going to be working on. And I'll set that aside, like literally in a bowl aside, and know, okay, this is all of the calories that she's allotted for the day. This is what I'm going to be using for training. She actually eats all of her food out of puzzle toys, so the rest she'll get in puzzle toys later on. So if I use actual training treats, or the dog food, in addition to my dog's Kibble for that day, I try to leave out that in addition part. So if I use training treats, I will take out a portion of her Kibble for that day and just put it away. I tend to not give her her entire full cup portion for the day of Kibble, and then on top of that, she might get a stuffed Kong, she might get training treats from me, she might get a bully stick. I try to portion out her food, her Kibble, depending on how much training treats she got throughout the day. Keep track of basically how many treats my dog did eat, so I can mentally kind of figure out, okay, I probably should feed them maybe half of their portion of dinner tonight, or a quarter of the portion of dinner tonight. Obviously, I wouldn't make that a daily routine with that having to cut your dog's food down that significantly, because we still want them to get the nutritional value in those calories that they're taking in every single day. So trying to use their Kibble if you can, but also mixing a couple treats in here, a couple training sessions with regular treats, training treats in there is not going to hurt them whatsoever. I can make a separate video talking all about food motivation in dogs. Every dog is food motivated. They have to survive. That's kind of what it comes down to. So Wrigley was not that Kibble motivated when I first brought her home. Now she is. So I'm happy to make a separate video on that. If you guys are interested, please let me know down in the comments if that is of interest to you. I'd be happy to sit down and film that. And also, I just want to address too the length of my training sessions. You guys, 2 or 3 minutes here and there. You do not need to be training for like half an hour, an hour at a time with your dog. That's entirely too much. Just take a couple minutes here and there, a couple times throughout the day if you can, and that's perfect. a couple minutes at a time. Our dog's brains get tired pretty quickly. So when you guys are seeing me make these like 15-20 minute long videos, Wrigley has the mental stamina for that now at her training level, but you really got to build your dog up to that. So start with just a couple minutes at a time. If it's a harder, challenging concept, even less time than that. If it's something easy for them, like the Ready Find It game, you guys can add more time onto that pretty easily. So I hope that addresses the how long should I train my dog for question. It's up to you, but it's mostly up to your dog. I hope this video was helpful for you guys. Please let me know if you have any questions in the comment section down below. I'm gonna link these two brands of treats for you guys down below. They're what I reach for, they're what I purchase over and over again on Amazon. You can also find them in different pet stores around your town too. So let me know if you guys have questions, and I hope to see you soon. Happy training.